Hi Scrappy friends, welcome to my channel, Diane Gutierrez Scrapbooking. I'm Diane Gutierrez and I am ready to show you some layouts that I've created using the Creative Memories Hit the Road collection. So I've taken this one collection and I broke it into two types of layout. I'm going to show you 6 layouts from my Quick and Cute series, and then I'll show you 5 layouts from my Playful and Polish series. So I'll show you 11 double page layouts today. So let's go ahead and jump in. So for the Quick and Cute layouts, I used the embellishment pack this time. I just thought it brought in a lot more texture and a lot of variety to my pages. So another thing in this pack is we had a couple different variations of this road scene. This one's kind of driving off into a desert, and then we have another one that's driving off into the mountains. So I really wanted to at least use this one time in each set of the layouts just so that we have an idea of how we can use these scenic type pages. So what I did was I left a big chunk here and then put my photos down here, and I thought it was a great idea to use the billboard here, and then you can fill in with some mini alpha stickers of where your location is that you're going to, and then just some other simple embellishing on this page. But that scenic page really just does the decorating for us. But for the second page, I kind of left it a little bit more plain and simple to kind of bounce off of the first page. And then this is the page where I would do what I like to call my photo dump and just kind of put all my photos here. So I went with 2 fun size photos here and a little bit of a journaling spot right there. This collection came with some cute enamel arrows, and so I used quite a bit of those throughout all of my layouts. And then I have a nice block over here where I put some pattern paper, and then I backed it with some black cardstock to give it just a little bit more pop. Came down here with another journaling area and this nice big playful arrow that points right back to our picture. So I think this is a pretty cute one, and I love how it turned out. So for the second layout here, I did do a YouTube process video for this one. I'll link it at the end of this video. But this one, I just kept it very plain and simple, taking use of the strips that run all the way across both pages and throwing in a little piece of that icon paper just to give it a little bit of fun and that feeling of you're on the road going places. So another great thing about this layout is it holds all full-size photos. You don't have to crop your photos down at all if you don't want to. But we have 2 nice big blocks that can house a lot of photos and a lot of options. You can change to a grid style and have 4x4 photos. So lots of options. I went with 2 embellishment clusters only, kind of in a diagonal effect, and I have my title up here, again one of those playful arrows. And I loved this collection because it just shows a lot of movement with all the arrows in the background, and then the fun arrows they gave us with the enamel epoxy pieces. Those are awesome. Here's another one, kind of points right back up to our journaling area. I bring in limited tools when I'm doing my cute and quick layouts, and so this one I brought in a oldie but goodie, the corner rounder, and had some fun corner rounding just the top pieces of the black cardstock and the green paper. So you're probably already noticing that in these layouts I tend to lean a little bit heavy on the cardstock just because I like that look, and I feel like it helps to pop out the colors of the pattern paper, especially against a white background. This collection, I seem to pick black quite a bit because I just feel like it gave it that extra pop and that kind of being on the road feeling. For my third layout here, I think this is a great example of how black just really makes this layout pop. So I used black for the background, and then I gutted it and brought some of the black scraps back in here as well. And then using this gray, what I like to call the asphalt paper, just gave a lot of accent. This collection is not only good for road trips, I also feel like it's really good for masculine type layouts as well. We're always looking for how to highlight those special men in our lives, and I feel like this collection really speaks to that. So here across the strip, kind of the same concept as the last page, but I changed it to using the road sign paper instead. So a little pop of that shows up here. Kind of an interesting take on our journaling box right over here. And then I brought in the custom cutting system and brought in circles. So I have my visual triangle going from here to here and back up here with my circle. So I love that look. And I kind of brought in a fourth little cluster down here. I used this embellishment, which could also be used as a journaling box, but I used it more of as an embellishment base. If you had more journaling to say, you certainly could write it right there. And then what I like to do with the cute and quick layouts is kind of bring in some other maybe generic tools that I think might be investment tools. I consider them investment tools because I can use them over and over, but you would have to make your own call on that. And for this investment tool, I brought in the gear punch. And this is a border punch. And so I punched out a couple of those and then I just cut it up. And when I do that on these types of layouts, then I put it in a place where you can easily substitute it. You can bring in so many other punches in that same area, or you can eliminate it altogether. I had a lot of fun with this layout. This layout number 4, you'll see I brought in some pattern paper using that license plate paper. Just wanted to bring that in at least once in these layouts. It's super fun. And then on this page I have two photos kind of at a tilt, so it's giving it more of a fun, crazy kind of feel. I used the embellishment, this embellishment down here as a journaling spot. This embellishment pack came with several journaling areas, so that kind of can change it up with our quick and cute. I don't have to use lined paper or write-on strips. I can use the embellishments that I bought with this collection. So remember, I just bought the paper pack and the embellishment pack, and that's all I use besides my investment tools, which, by the way, the investment tool I used here is the 1 3/4 inch circle. And I just punched out a few of them, cut them in half, and put 5 up here, 3 down here, had 1 extra piece, so I brought it over here. I thought that was fun and a great use of my scrap. And then over here, I have just a band of photos. This is 11.5 by 6 inches, perfect size to house 3 vertical 3.5 by 5.5 inch photos. And then I just have very minimal embellishments. This cluster over here only has 1, plus an extra little circle hanging out back there. Again, a good use of my scraps. Then a couple items here and a few over there. Again, making that visual triangle. Layout number 5, even though this is the quick and cute section, I do think this is very playful. I went ahead and did a diagonal cut here. Diagonals are definitely growing on me. I used to be a little bit terrified of a diagonal cut, and I'm learning to embrace that and go ahead and give it a try. And the more I use it, the more I like it. So here we have a diagonal cut with that black plaid paper. And all that's explained in my cutting guide on how to do that. So kind of fun there. I went with a grid style over here and a couple strips of paper up there. And then just very, very light on the embellishments. On page 2, I went the same concept we had before with the 3 vertical photos going across that strip. I did something a little bit different here, and I kind of hung them off of the strip altogether. So just a little bit something different. If you didn't like that, there's plenty of room on this to go ahead and scoot those back up and get them into your block area there. For my journaling, I went with 2 of the tags that came in the embellishment kit. And the blue one is the one I think that I would do more of the writing on. So I put that one straight going vertically up and down, and then kind of tucked the other one underneath. And I like the little luggage tags, makes it look like we're ready to get going on a vacation. And then I just put a clump of embellishments right there. And of course, the whole thing is on a frame styled background. So easy, fun, done. So normally I only try and do 5 layouts with a collection, mainly because a lot of times I'm running out of embellishments or stickers, and I try and get good use out of the paper as well. But when I finished with the 5, I had a lot of strips left over, so I thought, why not create a simple layout kind of using up some of the scraps. I recommend when you're cutting these pages to keep a pile of scraps because we pull through them for the other pages. But at the end, when we have this many, we might as well get a 6th page, right? So basically I took the strips and I tried to make them varying widths as well as lengths. And so it kind of just gives it a fun, uneven look over here, but in the middle is where I have them meet. So it looks very continuous throughout the 2 pages. And then I threw in some strips of cardstock. Again, I varied the sizes of those just to kind of give it a little bit of a dimension to our eye as we're looking at the page. So I have 2 straight photos here. Of course, they would look very cute if you overlap them and got playful with that. And then again, our strip over here, utilizing those 3. This time we went a horizontal strip so that we can have some horizontal photos. A nice big area for some journaling. And then I just went with 2 small embellishment cluster areas. Now, one tip when building the strips, keep in mind that you don't have to have the full strip running across. If you know where your photos are going to go, then underneath here, let's see if we can show that. Underneath there, you can see that red is not a whole strip. It's just a partial strip. So, and I just tucked it and made and extended it out here, because if not, it would have been too short over here and it wouldn't look like it was flowing across the whole page. So keep that in mind. Place your photos down and see where you need to make some adjustments on this. So there we go. There is my quick and cute layouts. Let me clean all these up and I'm going to bring in the playful and polished. So before I jump into my playful and polished layouts, I did want to mention that whenever Creative Memories puts out an entire collection, a big collection, they will include a project playbook. And this comes out with the bundle when it's first released. In fact, if you buy the Buy It All bundle, you get this for free, which is a $5 value. If there's leftovers after the bundle is off of its sale, they will sell these individually. It comes very nice. It's on a nice glossy paper. It's 3-hole punch. You can put it right into your creative motivation binder, and it's full of different ideas and inspiration. So when you get this, then you can just get going right away, cutting into your new collection. So this is just another way to get some more inspiration to use with your product. And then they also, once the bundle is not on sale anymore, they also release a digital copy. So I believe with Hit the Road, this one is already sold through, and so they do still have the digital version of this, and I will link that in the description of this video with the other products that I'm using. This is a really good value. The digital copy is only $2 in the US, and it's just a great handy resource to have, and you can actually swap out other collections for the layouts that are put in here. So I just wanted to mention that, and now I'm going to get on to my playful and polished layouts and show you what I've created. So I did 5 double page layouts with my playful and polished series, and that is always my goal, just to do 5. If I do 6 like I did with the cute and quick, it's because I had extra materials and just wanted to give a bonus layout. So here is number 1. Again, you're going to see I brought in the pattern paper with cardstock behind to kind of make it pop, and I love this layout. I did a playful cut here with this black cardstock so that I can now tuck in my journaling box right here. Love that. I used the new green embellishment ABC letters, and I love that because it's nice and big and bold, and this is definitely a road trip type of page. And I went again with a little pop of the road signs here. And if you're wondering, I do use completely new paper packs for each set. So the cute and quick, that was 1 paper pack. I did not get all of these 11 layouts in with 1 paper pack, so I did use one for each set. Then I got a little bit playful and brought in the Tire Tracks border making cartridge, which I just thought was playful and fun on this layout, and so I put that just coming out this direction here and then coming down here. Brought in some nice embellishment areas, and with this set I used both embellishments and stickers, so I had a lot to choose from. and that makes it just more fun, playful, and polished. The other tools that I brought in were, I brought in the tab punch and I put it right up here, and I also brought in a couple, the triangle here and this road sign shape down here. I brought those, come from the mini trio road signs that were put out with this collection. And to this one, I just put the little word date because I thought that'd be a cute area just to put the date that you were traveling. And then up here, that is an arrow, which is also from that mini trio. Those are the three that you get. Fun pack. I used the other arrow down here because it does have two of those. No, I did a lot of arrows on these layouts. This one might look familiar because I did do a YouTube process video for this one. And if you remember, this spot down here is designed to be for a 5x7 photo. Fun. I haven't done that in a long time, so I'm kind of happy about that. And then overall, I kind of made this layout to be like a little boy construction type paper, maybe when they're playing in the yard with their trucks and their bulldozers and all that. It would make a good traveling one too if you got stuck in some major traffic. Maybe you played games and kept yourself busy being stuck at a construction zone on the freeway, so that could apply there as well. But when I was designing this, I thought more of a little boy's play page. So that's why I went really heavy with the embellishments on this as well. I went through the collection and pulled out all the embellishments and stickers that had anything to do with construction. So that was a lot of fun. And up here, I put in the title called Work Zone, and I just used some old school Creative Memories letters. And my recommendation is go through your stash, find letters that you want to get used up, or cut some with your die cut machine. I think there's always a way we can get stickers, and you don't have to go quite as big. You can use mini stickers there as well. Again, lots and lots of arrows on this page. We're going up here, we're going that direction here. Down here, we're spinning it to go that way, and then here we're looping it around. Here we're coming down and out, in, up. So lots of movement on this page. I just thought that was super fun and playful. For my tools that I brought in the embossed hexagon, and I brought that in two places. Again, the road signs, the little mini trio road signs, I brought in here and here. And then I even dipped into some older mini trio punches and grabbed the star and put two on this page to bring in some more of the black. Again, I used black as my background to pop those colors. And I also had some fun around the edge by using this bold white, orange, and black pattern paper. So lots of fun on this page. I enjoyed it a lot. I have a double stacked journaling spot right here where you can either put a little photo here and just your journaling here, or use both spots for your journaling. So I love this page. I hope that you do too. In fact, while I'm putting this one away, I'd like to take this opportunity to ask you, if you are enjoying this layout share, please click the like button so my content can spread through YouTube. I would love to get some new subscribers, and I do appreciate you for doing that. Thank you. Okay, if I had fun on the last page, you know I had fun on this page. I did some creative cutting with this, I'll tell you that. So first of all, I used up here the back side of two different papers. You'll have to see the cutting guide. I have it all spelled out how I did that. And I just trimmed off the top portion with the clouds. I brought in the snow-capped mountain punch right here, and then a little bit of the car icon paper across like that. And then I brought in the Creative Memories circle cutter and cut some beautiful circles and rings. Turned this one into a playful arrow to get us going to the other page. And then that was it for the major cutting on this, but it was super fun, not hard to do. If you get the cutting guide, I will tell you how to obtain these trees if you don't have something in your stash that you can pull for these trees here. I just felt like I wanted this to be a really outdoorsy page with the mountains, and so I added some more trees from my stash. Then down here, I even brought in the oak tree punch and the road trip border punch, and I just punched out one single section and decorated it to have the blue vehicle, so I wanted the vehicle to kind of match the one over here. So here I just put in all kinds of different trees. I love that look. And then here's where I brought in that big arrow. Again, I thought that was fun and playful. I also brought in my compass punch. I felt like compass goes very good with this collection. So if you have this collection, you're wondering what punch, that's a good one. I always start with my collection. I always, when I first get it, kind of jot down some punches that are coming to my mind right away that I would want to use with it. Or as I'm going through, I'll make a special run through my punches just to kind of see what I have. And I think it works for this page. Okay, here we have layout number 4, and I wanted to mention, stay tuned to the end because I do have a bonus border to show you. And so again, like with the quick and cute, I wanted to incorporate that scenic paper. I just think it's so beautiful, but sometimes I know it's just really hard to use. So you'll notice I used about half of it on the page. The first one was probably more like 8 inches. This one is probably closer to 6. And I cut these out with the 1 3/4 inch square punch, but you could do them a little bit bigger if you wanted to. Space them out on a piece of black 6-inch or 12-inch cardstock, and I think that it totally works. It looks like you're almost looking out the window of your car driving. Then I kind of mimicked the same thing over here, but instead I used the green paper to bring in the dark rich green from the mountains on this one, and instead of having a grid, I went with 3 smaller photos, again kind of like you're looking out a window. And so I thought that would be super cute to put some of those scenery photos that you see as you're driving. Here I came in with the tree line border punch, always looking for ways to put my punches in, right? And then the bottom half of this layout is just some vertical 3.5 by 5.5 inch photos. Perfect size to fit into that area. Didn't need any photo mats down here. And then I went with some pretty large clusters down here at the bottom. Didn't want to cover up too much of this, so I went with one embellishment that says enjoying the journey, and I popped that up onto some foam squares, so that was fun. And then just kind of put a grouping down here of some of the different symbols and things from the embellishment pack. And again, pop this one up onto some foam squares as well. Over here, I did the same thing I did with the quick and cute. I loved it, so I went ahead and repeated it, kind of doubled up my tags here and put that one vertical one going this direction. That's where I'll do my journaling. So yeah, I love this page. This one was not as hard as it looks. Layout number 5 is another fun one, I think, and this would be for a little boy's page. I just wanted to make sure I was hitting those masculine pages, and I thought that this one really hit it home for the boys. So I made a cute, playful tag up here using my tag punch, and I put my title there, Boys Rule. Why not? I'm sure I can find some old photos of my son to put on here, and he's pretty cool, so I think he does rule. But here I used white for my background and brought in a white block, and behind here I tucked in a partial piece, gutted for sure, of the blue asterisk paper that comes in this collection. And then I just did some other layers. This is a layer here with the cars, and then the brown cardstock in the back is also another layer. Brought in the cars over here going the other direction, so that was fun. And then I brought in photo mats using the red geo paper. I thought that was a nice added touch, but if you didn't want to use that, you can always substitute some cardstock. So for the border sticker here, I did take the sticky off using the anti-stick powder tool, and then I came back through and popped each little car up onto a foam square so it kind of elevates it up. When I put this photo in, I made sure to leave the backing on the foam off of that one so that I could still tuck the photo in, and then once my photo's in place, I could decide whether I want to take the backing off or not. And then of course I brought in a couple more tags. These are just smaller pieces. I just wanted to give it the look of the tag, just to bring in some more pop of color here and to tie in my tag up there. You really wanted to, you could bring in one more tag on this side, but I didn't want to cover up my icon paper here. And I have some great embellishment clusters here. I brought in some of those boy items that I feel like the sticker sheet had so many that to choose from. And I loved this title, Wonder Often, Wonder Always. perfect of what we want to teach our boys, right? And then over here's another fun, playful embellishment cluster where I started with the base of a journaling card that came in the embellishment pack. And just like the quick and cute layouts, I brought in that gears border punch and kind of playfully went up like that. You know, I love to trail things off of my embellishment clusters, so I decided that would be the perfect thing. So there we go. I think this one is just fun and super playful. I hope you agree. Now let me show you that border. I wanted to really play with the road trip border punch, and then I didn't find a use for it on the 5 layouts that I decided to make for this collection. So I thought, oh, I would want to make a fun little border with it. So here you'll see I started with the base and then a strip of paper. It really could be any paper you have left over. And I did a row of the tree line punch that I used on one of the previous layouts. And then I punched out the border from the road signs. I started with the black because you'll see the tires and the road, and then I punched it out again in green and used the trees on top like that, then punched it out in red, blue, and yellow. Now I didn't do a whole strip for those. I just did one at a time, cut them out and place them on top to give me that cute little look of different color cars driving. Had one perfect embellishment left, Destination Fun, that fit perfectly up there. And then I just used the gemstone custom cutting system, and I cut out a hexagon using some cool gray paper because I thought that looked kind of like a mountain, or maybe like half dome if you're driving to Yosemite or something like that. I thought it was perfect. So I love this border. I can't wait to get this one on a page. I think I'm gonna probably sneak this one over to my daughter's National Park book, since I don't have a home for this yet, so I'll put it over there. So there you go. That is my layout share using the Creative Memories Hit the Road collection. I hope that it inspired you to pull out your Hit the Road collection and get some pages done. And just like always, jump over to my blog if you are interested in seeing more information about my cutting guide, and I have some still shots over there as well. So thank you for joining me, and until next time, take care everybody. I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.